All right. I'm not Kevin Hart, but that was just what I wanted to say. Okay. Hey, it's Paris Life, all up in your life. Hello world. So for this next piece, I'm gonna talk about the home studio and some more specifics about how to get it going, how to put it together. Okay. So what do you need to make a home studio? I will tell you. Okay. So the most important part of a home studio is this. No, that is actually true. I was joking, but that is actually true. If you don't know how to do it properly, then there's no point. But your computer. Your computer is number one. Your computer is the very first and foremost. If you don't have a computer, you're kind of assed out. Now, tangent, side note, there are standalone recording devices. Shout out to my homie Kyle Arst. This dude is dope entrepreneur. He's getting back in the rap game, I believe, from what I heard, right? But me and Mario Castellini, shout out to him too, used to work with him back in the day, like 10 years ago. And he had a thing called a Boss BR1200. It's also a 900. I don't know if they still make them, but these are recording units where you can pop a CD in, or I believe even a USB drive, and you can load audio into it so it can have your beat. And then you can plug a microphone in through an XLR cable. It have phantom power. You could record into it, and then you could burn a CD directly from it. I think you might have been even able to move your bounce, I'll call it, your project, as an audio file onto a USB drive, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember we were burning discs out of that. So you can go that route. I personally might not recommend it if you're not if you're a beginner, or if you're not willing to put the work in, because that workflow is going to be very different from some other stuff, from like a computer. Now going back, okay, computer is going to be the most important thing. It could be a laptop, it could be a PC, whatever works better for you. Okay, but make sure you got a good computer. Don't cheap out on the computer. You can cheap out on a lot of stuff. Don't cheap out on the computer. And a side note, again, I'm going to come to this in a second, but your environment that you're recording in, if that's trash, if you're recording in a gymnasium, if you're recording in a parking lot, if you're recording in, your room, it might not sound that great, so make sure your environment's good. Make sure you have a way to treat it. I'll come back to that in a second. Okay. So you can either build your own computer, which is fun, depending on who you are. I like building my own computers, but it's a process. You will save a lot of money, but it's going to take you some time. And that means you're probably going to be working a Windows machine. Now for computers, there's the whole, should I get a Mac, Apple, should I go Windows? It's up to you. Personally, I love Logic. I love the program Logic. If it wasn't for that program, I'd probably use Windows. I think you can do a lot of the same stuff. I like how the Apple experience is very streamlined. It's really easy to get into. You don't have to do a bunch of customization. It comes with GarageBand already on that computer. So if you get a Mac with an i7, you're good. Quad-core processor, you're good. But you're not going to be able to customize the hardware too much depending on what kind of Mac you get. So keep that in mind. And there's some PCs, like Windows PCs, but that might be true too. But I specifically have experienced some issues with Apple. And I can get more into that in a different video. But it just depends. You got to pick your poison, Windows, the materials it's going to be a little cheaper. You customize a little bit more. It is what it is. You got to kind of make it your own. Apple, it's all kind of there for you, but you got to really buy into the Apple ecosystem at that point. Yeah, that's a whole different video. That's all I'm going to say about that. But your computer got to be on point. No less than an i5. I highly recommend no less than an i5, but I would go i7 or better if you can. If you can, it's going to help you a lot. You got to focus on making sure your processor is good and go from there. But do your research on that. I can do more on computer specifics in a different video, but I want to go down the whole list of what you'll need in your home or wherever you decide to set up your equipment at, okay? So boom, computer, very important. That's like home base for everything else to connect to. The other piece of the puzzle is going to most likely be an interface. And so people might be like, what? But, you can get a microphone and just hook it up, but you're going to be really limited. Your interface is going to allow your computer to do more things with the audio and take a lot of the stress off of the computer versus just plugging microphones directly into the computer. There are some microphones that you can do that, and it's really good stuff, like the Blue Yeti, the Snowball by Blue, so those Blue mics are dope. You can get busy with those. But for me, my experience, and again, I got into the game before Blue was doing that with those two specific microphones, so it might be different now. I just remember, I started with a $10 little Staples computer mic. I went to a $30 computer kind of karaoke mic. And then I went to my first condenser, which was like $170. It was a birthday gift. And then I finally saved up some bread, and shout out to my guy Raz Simone. He pulled up on me when I was working at Best Buy, and he said, "Hey bro, you got to get this mic, the Neumann TLM 102. It's $700. It's an entry-level Neumann, but it's a Neumann. You need that." So I bought it. I ended up buying it, and I still have that thing to this day. And that was like 2011, 2012, maybe 13, right? I still have that thing. It's a good mic. JDM, a lot of these songs were recorded on that mic, okay? So, your mic is really important, but a mic like that, you can't just plug that into a computer. You got to have an interface, 3-pin connection. Shout out to my man Cliff Barnes, CB4. He taught me that. Gave me a real hard lesson at Guitar Center when I was younger, but that's my guy. I love that guy. You need an interface, okay? And it could be as low as like $80-$90. It can be way higher when you get into things like what's that company? I feel like a dummy. But there are some where they have conversion and things going on where it's more advanced and things. So those get more expensive. You get to like 1,000, maybe more. Slate Digital has a cool one that they just put out recently. And it's one we used at the studio I used to work at. And the name is slipping off the top of my tongue, man. But there's some really good ones, just some really cheap ones. So whatever gets the job done for you, gets the job done for you, okay? But get an interface. You're going to need that. Because not only does that help you connect your microphone, it connects your speakers and just about everything else audio-wise, and it helps your computer work more efficiently and not crash too much, okay? So microphone, you're going to probably need to get a condenser microphone. You can use a dynamic like a Shure SM58 or 57, but you'll want a condenser that's going to help you get better quality recordings. A dynamic is more for on stage and a bunch of different things happening. Condenser is really good in a controlled environment. So things like the Neumann TLM 102, that's $700, but there's some good Blue mics for $200-$300. Even the Audio Technica, I believe it's the AT2020, it's about $100. I've heard some amazing stuff with those mics, but even some of their other stuff that's higher up. Some AKGs, they have some crazy ones that I've recorded on, and man, there's all kinds of different mics. So definitely feel free to experiment. Start with something you can afford and work on getting your mixing game right. And then as you get better and better and stronger, you can go ahead and try to do more expensive mics. My favorite, the Granddaddy, just for example, to show y'all how crazy it can get, is I believe it's the Sony C800. Shout out to Jay Battle. I used his. That's my favorite mic of all time. I'm gonna get one day. And it's like the Neumann U87. I use those quite a bit. I use that one quite a bit. I love how that sounds too. Lovesick was recorded. My verse on Lovesick and the hook. My vocals on Lovesick were recorded on the U87. Just to kind of give you guys an idea. Okay. So all kinds of mics. Just get something you can afford. Get a condenser to start off with. Okay. Let's talk about things that go with the mic. So you need a pop filter, so your all that doesn't come through and cut through and sound super terrible and ugly on the audio, right? You're also gonna need a mic stand, most likely. So it could be something for the desk, it could be something that stands on the floor, it can be a boom stand, whatever, but you're gonna need a way to hold up the microphone. The microphone will probably come with a cradle or some kind of attachment to keep it on the mic stand, whatever mic stand you get. And then let's go back to the environment. So again, I said before, you want to do this in a place that's treated, but the game has changed so much. It's awesome. So there's this thing called a Chaotica eyeball. It's $200, big piece of foam that goes around your mic, and it's made specifically for you to do recordings with. And it has a pop filter in it, which is really cool. There's a cheaper version from China I've seen that I almost bought, and I've seen other artists from Seattle use, which is pretty cool. But then too, if you really want to get gangster, go on Amazon. I think if you type in Chaotica eyeball, I think you can buy that on Amazon for $200, but then they have a ball of foam for like $15, and you can just go and cut that so it fits around your mic, and I'm pretty sure it's going to have the same effect. The thing is, you want to stop those reflections, right? So if I record in an empty, untreated room, my voice is going to bounce off the wall and reflect. So as long as you can treat those reflections and stop that, even less expensive filters will give you the same effect, like the reflection filter by SE. There's a whole bunch of other examples. Sterling Audio also makes some. So those will definitely help your recording game like crazy. Okay. Now you're going to need headphones. That is a must. That's mandatory. Even if you don't have speakers, you can mix with headphones to an extent. But you'll also need those to be able to record yourself and hear yourself rapping, and make sure you learn how to monitor yourself in your software. You'll learn more about that. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, but headphones are an absolute must. You want flat, neutral, natural sounding headphones. Like Audio Technica has some great ones that I still use to this day from like high school. Sennheiser HD 280s and 380s are great. Great headphones, okay? $100 will usually get you a phenomenal pair, but as long as you can hear yourself, that's okay. You can probably get it done in earbuds if you needed to. The only thing, most interfaces use a 1/4 inch connection. Most headphones that are made for consumer use and not studio use are gonna have maybe a 1/8 inch jack. Obviously, if you're using an Apple thing like a EarPods, not AirPods, right? That's going to be a lightning connection. That's going to be an adjustment too. So you need something, most likely, if you have an audio interface, which you will need, anything with a 1/4 inch jack. That is the most important thing. That is mandatory. That is a mandatory need, okay? Speakers. You're going to need speakers, okay? You need to be able to hear and mix things out in an environment with things bouncing around. Okay, the headphones can be kind of deceptive. You need both. Okay, at the end of the day, you need to be able to listen to your stuff not just in these speakers and the headphones. Those are your main guides, but then too, you're gonna have to play it in your car, your Bluetooth speaker. I said this before, all over places where you know most listeners will listen to it. I was just listening to music on my phone. I do that all the time. I love my phone speaker. Okay, let's keep that all in mind. Beyond that, those are really the big things, you know, making sure your computer has a solid state drive, okay? You know, so it takes a long time to write these things down for your computer, you know, to have these files available. You know, but most of my stuff's been recorded at home studios, like Keeping 100, and the link to all my stuff's gonna be in this description, and if you're watching on Instagram, it's gonna be in my bio. All my stuff, all my music videos, all in that Linktree link, okay? Check that out. Do not cheat yourself. There's some good stuff in there, okay? I'm not even asking y'all for money yet. But anyway, so yeah, Keeping 100, that's gonna be in there. I did all those vocals at my house. Lovesick, I did my vocals for Lovesick at the studio on, I believe, a U87, but then Wish Baby, shout out to him, and Avery, shout out to her, did their vocals at Matt's house on my TLM 102. He has a treated environment. It sounds dope in there. My whole EP, I was almost all done on my TLM 102 at Matt's house or at my house. Like, if I go through the songs, bro, Stay on My Grind with Dante Peace. Dante Peace is gonna hate me. Shout out to him. Amazing rapper, hard worker. The mic was turned around, and that's my fault. But anyway, this was years ago. Okay, don't blame me. Okay, don't judge me. But the mic was turned around on his first. But anyway, that was all done on my TLM 102. All those vocals. Again, JDM, all the vocals done at my house. Could It Be, all done at Matt's house on the same mic. Guilt, all done at my house on that same mic. Me and Avery's vocals. Winning, all done at my house, except for Trish's part. Shout out to Tiger Trish. That part was done. Her vocals were done at Matt's house on the same mic. What else? I'm trying to go through all the songs. A Penny for Your Thoughts, all done at my house on that mic. The TLM 102. Yeah. Is it Winning? Could It Be? You know, the whole thing was done on that mic, okay, for that EP, which is 6 tracks, and then, you know, other 2 singles I have out, one of those was completely done on it. So your home studio is very important, is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to communicate to you. Get that going, get that done. And yeah, I gotta shout out my man Matt, bro. He's so dope. And hit him up, Matt Low End Sound. I'll tag him. Or he'll be in the bio for YouTube and for Instagram. I'll tag him. He's dope. If you need mixing done, hit him up. He'll get you right. He'll get you taken care of, okay? So that is pretty much this video. That's all I got for you guys this time around. I'll see y'all soon with some more game. Peace.